What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Until Dawn movie. It was one of the many announcements that was made when Sony did that show yesterday. I'll be going over the other stuff on Podcast Now, but I want to talk about the movie just because I kind of want to go off a little bit. In fact, I would say this PlayStation Universe title is pretty accurate. I got a better one, I think, though. The Until Dawn movie isn't actually adapting the game's story, instead featuring all new characters and plot. Now, look, a lot of this stuff was actually rumored for a while. A friend of the channel, actually, in Critical Overlord, he's a guy who breaks a lot of movie stuff, and he got a lot of scoops. I talked to him. He's a good guy, and he's kind of warned me in the past couple months that this movie is not going to be the game, just to kind of make sure that I'm aware. This is not the game. It's not taking place in the same location. It's not the same characters. Wendigos, however, he reported, are one of the group of enemies. So there's actually a group of them. I think witches is one of them. One of them I do think is like an actual like slasher, like serial killer type thing. But Wendigos are one of them, but there's like 6 or 7 in all. That's the rumor. But he's gotten everything else right. I trust the guy quite a bit, by the way. But they officially announced some of the stuff yesterday where Peter Stormare, he's going to be in it, but he's not playing the doctor, that he's playing in the game. I don't know who he's going to play. Obviously, just maybe a brand new character. They did say it'll take place in the Until Dawn universe, but again, like the title says, an original story, original narrative. I guess those are kind of the same thing. New characters, etc., etc. For me, and I mean, this thing's coming up close. I think it's like end of April or something is when this movie comes out. Obviously we're gonna get a trailer. I was about to say like I need a trailer. Well, of course you're gonna get a trailer for Until Dawn. Honestly, I thought we could have seen that yesterday. I guess they're waiting on it because that's not all that far away, but I think when it comes to horror, I know this was Scream, that Hard Eyes movie, the Valentine's Day type thing, which I think comes out like February 7th, just got a trailer 1 month before. So generally, I think for horror movies, they tend to hold off on the trailers. We're probably not getting a trailer for Until Dawn until late February, early March at best, if not maybe even late March. I will patiently wait, but look, I mean, the trailer's really going to have to sell me on this thing because if you take away, and this is kind of where I'm at with it, right? Like Until Dawn, what is Until Dawn? Well, it's a lot of different things, and it worked really well, as a game because it blended a lot of these different styles. It's got that slasher, that Scream type approach, which they did say back in the day was one of the inspirations to it, right? But you had the Wendigos, you had ghosts, kind of like possession type things. They were playing with a lot of different types of horror in that game, but a big part of that game was the butterfly effect, was the changing, narrative depending on what you pick. And for me, like once you take that away, which you have to for a movie, right? Like it's gotta go one way. You really take away like 50% already, maybe even more, maybe less, maybe more, I guess, depending on the person you are. But you take so much away, I think, just from what made the game special. Right? When they say like the Until Dawn universe, well, the Until Dawn universe is a choice-based game. That's what it is. And if you made a second Until Dawn game, it's a choice-based game. You can change up like what the horror elements are and like that kind of stuff. If they do it and they got like 5 different enemies to go up against and when to go, and those are kind of the classics, right? That was one thing that really stood out in Until Dawn. They kind of have to be a part of it, but you can mess with other stuff. Once they started doing the casting, I knew it wasn't, I think all of us kind of knew, right? They weren't just going to retell the games, but at the same time, and the thing is, like, if you were to retell the game, how do you even do that, right? Because like so much of that game can expand and contract depending on the choices that you make. So I don't know. The movie itself, right? The thing is, like, one of the biggest things in my head that maybe annoys just me, but like in these games, right, you can lose everybody, you can save everybody, or like a mixture. And I try to save everybody. Well, in a horror movie, I don't know if we all know this, I think we do, people die, right? People get taken out. So in a Until Dawn horror movie, there's no chance they're all making it. But you also can't have nobody make it, right? So you're not gonna have either of the extremes in any kind of game where you can have people be taken from you, okay? The best kind of ending, which is maybe like the one they really want you to get, right? It's like the true ending. That's when everybody makes it. But then in a movie, that's not the true end. It can't be, right? Because you've got to have people be taken out. So the true ending is somewhere like in between. So that's always been something that's kind of bugged me, and why you can't really do that. You can't really do any choice-based game as a show or a movie. Like a Mass Effect thing, if that ever happens, that'd be interesting too. Because again, like, what do you choose and which kind of paths do you go down? But we'll see. I'm willing to see it in theaters just to kind of see what happens, but they've got to prove it. And ultimately, ultimately they're gonna have like 2 trailers, I guess, different than a game, right? You can watch like an hour of a game before the game even comes out and say, okay, I can really understand if I'm gonna like or dislike this. A trailer is like, you might get 4 minutes of like footage from the hour and 40-minute movie, and you gotta see if that's enough for you. So it'll be interesting, but you let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.